FUJI 645 series are some of the most affordable medium format cameras out there, particularly the mechanical ones, which is the copy I have. I prefer the mechanical versions over the fully electronic ones because I think the mechanical ones are probably a bit more repairable, as I discussed with the FUJI 6x8 recently. I like to feel like there's some wiggle room. If there's a mechanical problem, a fully mechanical camera I'm fairly sure could be repaired, whereas I think the electronic ones, they may just turn into quite an expensive house brick. "15 frames on a roll feels nice. It feels like quite a lot when you've been shooting with the FUJI 6x8 and you only get 9 frames. And the negative is still more than double the size of 35mm, so there's still lots of resolution there. And I think it's quite a nice entry point for people who are maybe taking the step up from 35mm. The fixed lenses on these Fuji medium format cameras, the same as the 6x8, I think they're really superb. This lens is superb as well, the 60mm f4. F4 is slightly slow in certain circumstances if you're shooting in slightly lower light. But the benefits are you have a leaf shutter, so maybe when handheld you can still go to maybe a 30th of a second on the shutter speed, but the lens is tack sharp when you nail it. It's a rangefinder focus system, which I like, same as the 6x8. This camera is basically the little brother of the 6x8. This camera is designed, I would say, as a portrait camera. The ratio, the setup through the viewfinder is portrait mode. So to shoot landscape mode, you actually have to turn it sideways, so it's kind of backwards to most normal cameras. But I like that. This is literally set up as a portrait camera, which is ideal for Instagram. 40 years ahead of its time, this camera. I did take this camera to Warsaw recently to shoot with a model there, or a friend of a friend. We were going to shoot some film, shoot some Cinestill, and it was going to look epic. We were going to go on the metro, on the trams, but it didn't happen. So you'll have to make do with that nice video intro that I made and some shots of Ilford XP2 around and about Warsaw town in the daylight. It does have a built-in light meter, and all these shots have been taken using the built-in light meter, which I find to be extremely accurate. It never lets me down. I do like an incident meter, but as I said, as a travel camera, when you don't want to pack anything else, you don't really want to be walking around with a light meter when you're trying to take street photography shots. This camera does have a special place in my collection, and I find myself using it more and more simply because of the results it gives. It's a camera that really helps you with the built-in light meter, with the rangefinder focusing system. Nailing focus is quite easy because of the nature of the 60mm lens. It's quite a wide angle, so I think hitting focus is a little bit easier. It's not really like a shallow depth of field camera because it's a smaller format. So yeah, the results out of this camera are always really, really excellent. There's a certain look to it. As I've said, you're not going to get super shallow portrait shots, but for the look that it gives in the certain circumstances, I mean, this is one of my favourite cameras.